Well, was not a fun day for New York sports. We had the Knicks got blown out by the Celtics that we're going to get into right away. We also had the Mets lose a tough one to the Chicago Cubs, even though Brett Baty decided to hit 2 home runs. Speaking of 2 home runs, Aaron Judge also hit 2 home runs today, but the Yankees could not get by the Athletics. So we have the Mets get 2 home runs from a player, and the Yankees get 2 home runs by no surprise from Aaron Judge. Both of them couldn't capitalize. And of course, the Knicks getting blown out of the Celtics. Like I said, we're going to get right into that, and let's get into it. It was tough. Now the Knicks only lead the series 2-1. In my opinion, it was a must-win game for the Knicks because just like that, the Celtics made it a series. Just like that, the Celtics showed that the Celtics are the superior team over the Knicks. And that's what scares me the most. Whoever wins game 4 now is going to win this series. That's what I took away from this game. No matter what, this was a must-win game or not for the Knicks. But at the end of the day, it's 2-1. So that's why I just said whoever wins game 4 is going to win this series. If the Knicks go up 3-1, which they need to beat the Celtics, they can't go in back 2-2 at Boston. They cannot afford to do that. If they drop this game, I think they will lose. And it hurts me to say because I have been confident ever since game 1. Since game 1, I said to myself, to my friends, to fellow Knicks fans that, hey, the Knicks can actually do this. They can pull this off. They can pull this upset off. Now I sit here today and I am worried. I'm flat out worried because I can look at it as a positive that the Knicks offense hasn't shown up since really game 5 against the Detroit Pistons. And even against the Pistons, that whole entire series, the Knicks offense didn't really show up at all. It was really Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns. And same thing against the Celtics. We have not seen a complete offensive effort from the New York Knicks. We had OG Anunoby score 29 points in game 1 against the Celtics. Since then, he's been flat out not even existent on the offensive side. McCall Bridges has struggled all playoffs on the offensive side. Defensively, McCall and OG, they've been great outside of game 3, of course. But we need a complete offensive game. We need a complete offensive game. We also need a complete offensive game, and I hate to say this, but we need Jalen Brunson to step his ass up. Jalen Brunson really hasn't been Jalen Brunson against the Boston Celtics just yet. And like I said, I can look at that as a positive or a negative. Jalen Brunson has yet to step up in this series, and we need Jalen Brunson to step up with a 30-plus point performance. We need that. We need maybe even 40 points. We need a vintage Jalen Brunson game in game 4. That is the only way the Knicks are going to win. I've said it for the past week now. The only way the Knicks win a game over the Celtics, each game that they play against the Celtics this series, the only way they win is if they get into a 4-point game, really even a 6-point game. Just give me a 3 or a 2-possession game in the final minutes, and there's nobody else I want the ball other than Jalen Brunson. I want Jalen Brunson with that ball in a 2-possession game. That's what I want. And the Knicks didn't give us that tonight, or today, I should say, because they played at 3:30. The Knicks didn't give us that. Defensively, they were horrible. And I get it. The Celtics were due to rebound from their terrible 3-point shooting performance from game 1 and game 2. And in game 3, they stuck to the plan. I mean, that's why they won the championship last year. That's why they won over 60 games in the regular season this year, is because they're lights out from behind the arc. But they cannot allow the Celtics to just run up the score on them. They cannot. They have to answer on the offensive end. I know the Knicks have it in them defensively, even though they struggled as a defensive unit in the regular season and partially in that Detroit Pistons series. And in game 3, they struggled defensively, but I know they have it in them. Because OG Anunoby and McCall Bridges, I know they have it in them. I know Josh Hart has it in him. I know Karl Anthony Towns, when he puts in his best effort defensively, he is actually pretty good. Jalen Brunson, I'm not expecting too much defensively, but like I said, I'm expecting Jalen Brunson to go off on the offensive side, which we really haven't seen yet since game 5 of the Detroit Pistons series. We haven't seen it yet. So there's a lot of positive outlooks that I can take away from game 3. Like, yeah, the Knicks didn't do well on the offensive side. Yeah, the Knicks didn't do well on the defensive side. But there's also a little part of me that says, wow, we were underdogs going into this series for a reason. And the Celtics showed us why we were underdogs in game 3. Because the Celtics are a damn good team. They were a damn good team. There's a lot of storylines you can look outside of the first 2 games, right? Oh, the Celtics only got to the NBA Finals last year because every player that they played in the playoffs, their best player was hurt, right? You had Jimmy Butler that went down when they played the Miami Heat. Against the Indiana Pacers even, you had Tyrese Halliburton out for the majority of the games. Even against the Bucks, you had Giannis and Dame both playing hurt. So there's a lot of ways I can look at the Celtics and say this Knicks team can still win because of that. But I can also say this Knicks team can still get blown out in the next 3 games because of what happened in the regular season and what happened in game 3. So I really don't know. I really don't know what we're going to get in game 4. Are we going to, if the game is a close game, I can say confidently the Knicks will win. But then the Knicks showed in game 1 and game 2, they got lucky. They got freaking lucky because 2 20-point comebacks, that's awesome. That's a great story. But in game 3, it showed they cannot afford to keep going down 20-plus points. The Celtics stomped them out after going up 20-plus points. The Knicks couldn't even put a run together in game 3. They need to answer on the offensive side. As great as I want to say this defense can be for the Knicks, at the same time, I'm also saying I need to see something offensively. I need to see them answer when Jason Tatum, when Peyton Pritchard, when Jaylen Brown, when Kristaps Porzingis, when Al Horford, they have so many guys that can shoot from behind the arc. I need to see somebody on the Knicks step up behind the arc and make a 3 and answer. Who is that going to be? Who? Somebody has to step up in game 4. Somebody. And that somebody really does have to be Jalen Brunson. And I don't want to knock Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson is the reason we're here. Jalen Brunson is the reason we won game 1 and game 2 because down the stretch in both those games, he put together the clutch performance, the clutch player of the year performance that he put together all year. So we need Jalen Brunson in game 4 because if we lose game 4, I can guarantee that the Celtics will win this series and they will probably win the NBA Finals. And the thing that's most frustrating, not even the fact that the Celtics won game 3. If we lose game 4, the thing that will be most frustrating if we end up losing this series is this is the Knicks' best opportunity to get to the NBA Finals. And then once we get there, potentially win. Because you look at the other NBA playoff series, I mean, the OKC Thunder, they're going to get to the Western Conference Finals. There's no doubt about that. They're too good not to. But the Denver Nuggets, who we dominated all year long in the regular season, even for the past few years, the Knicks have really had the Nuggets number. So if the Nuggets somehow come out of the West, that's a team I think the Knicks can beat. And then you talk about the Eastern Conference. The Cavs are banged up right now. Darius Garland looks like a shell of himself. I don't even know if he's going to be able to play in the next round. Donovan Mitchell, I mean, he's really the only one carrying that team. Evan Mobley, I mean, he's showing that playoff really, that rust that, young players have their first time in really big games. Not just the playoffs, because they've been to the playoffs the past few years, but really big games with high expectations. I think the Knicks could beat the Cavs in a 7-game series. I think the Knicks could beat the Pacers in a 7-game series. So if we just get by the Celtics, I think this is the best opportunity. This is the wide open window that the Knicks have to get to the NBA Finals. But if they don't beat the Celtics, there's no point in even talking about that. We have to get by the Celtics. That's what makes it so frustrating because the Knicks going up 2-0, they could have got squashed in game 1 and game 2. And I would have said, you know what, whatever. What else would you want to expect? The Celtics are the Celtics. The Knicks really haven't gelled together as a complete unit just yet. It's their first year together. Let's worry about next year. But the Knicks went up 2-0. And just like that, this is a must-win game in game 4, and this is a must-win series. Because when are the Knicks going to have this opportunity again? When are the Knicks going to have a wide open window? Whereas if they get by the Celtics, they can actually come out of the Eastern Conference as champions. And they could play in the NBA Finals against potentially the Denver Nuggets or an OKC Thunder team who I'll say, if we end up playing the OKC Thunder, we can do it. The Knicks have a wide open window right now to get there. But the only way they get there is if they beat the Celtics. Because whoever wins game 4, they will win the Eastern Conference. I will say that right now. If the Celtics win game 4, they're getting by the Knicks. If the Knicks win game 4, they're getting by the Celtics, and they will get by the Pacers or the Cavs. But they need to win game 4 because if they don't, this series is over. I'll say it right now. This series will be over if the Knicks lose game 4. We cannot let the Boston Celtics reset the series heading back to their home court. Because the Boston Celtics are due for a home court explosion. They're due for that. As much as I wanted to say, and as much as I did say, game 3 is a must-win game for the Knicks, now I'm saying that even louder. Game 4 is a must-win game for the Knicks. It's must-win. Now let's talk about some problems with game 3. Now let's talk about that. Number 1 problem, Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson only shot 9 of 21 from the field. We need a better Jalen Brunson. That's point blank. We need a better Jalen Brunson. Point number 2. We need a better Karl-Anthony Towns. I mean, like Jalen Brunson, Karl-Anthony Towns is our second all-star. He's our second, we want to call him a superstar, and I really do want to call him a superstar, but we need Karl-Anthony Towns to perform at a high level. Karl-Anthony Towns only shot 5 of 18 from the field, only shot 1 of 5 from 3. At the end of the day, he was a minus 19 on the floor. He did get 15 rebounds, which was nice, but 0 blocks, 0 steals. Nothing on the defensive side of the ball. Nothing. You look at Josh Hart, only 6 rebounds, 3 of 9 from the field, 0 for 3 from 3. You got to make some threes. OG Anunoby only put up 6 freaking shots. Only put up 6 shots, and he made 1 of them. He scored 2 points. We need more from OG Anunoby. Even defensively, we need more from OG Anunoby. He had 0 steals, 0 blocks. Same thing with McCall Bridges. 0 blocks, and I know McCall, he's only a wing, but he's still a guy who I believe can get blocks. He did have 2 steals, which was nice, but he only put up 2 threes. We need more 3-point attempts from McCall Bridges. He can knock them down at a high level. 6 of 10 from the field. You can't complain about that, but only 3 rebounds, only 2 assists. He was a minus 19 while he was on the floor. Now I look at the bench, and the bench didn't do that bad. Miles McBride was a minus 2 while he was at minus 1, actually, while he was out there. He shot 2 of 3 from the field, only got out there in 19 minutes. 18 minutes from Mitchell Robinson. Obviously, the hack of Mitch is causing him to not play that many minutes, but 8 rebounds while he was on the floor in those 18 minutes, and he was a minus 3. I need to see more of Mitchell Robinson in game 4. I don't care if they hack a Mitch all you want. Get to the bonus early on in each quarter. Let Mitch play. Because when Mitch is on the floor, the reason they're hacking a Mitch right now, the reason Joe Mazzulla wants to foul Mitchell Robinson so much is because he knows when Mitchell Robinson is on the court, the paint is not open for the Boston Celtics. It is not. So I need Mitchell Robinson on that court more in game 4. I need to see it. Whether it's you pull off Josh Hart, you pull off OG Anunoby. I really don't want to pull off McCall Bridges because he has that potential to really light up the Knicks' offensive side of the ball. He has that potential to do it. Unless OG Anunoby is performing at a high level offensively, you can't pull him off the court, but I need Mitch out there. I need Mitch out there more. There's a lot of things that went wrong in game 3. A lot of things. You cannot keep putting the Knicks cannot peak. It's just so frustrating because game 1 and game 2, we did get lucky. I cannot lie. You cannot put yourself down 20 plus points every single game and expect to somehow win. You cannot expect a miracle every single game. We need a complete game out of the Knicks in game 4. And like I said, positive, negative outlook. You can look at the positive outlook and say the Knicks haven't put together a great game all series long, but you can also look at the negative outlook and say the Knicks haven't put together a great game all series long. So let's see what the Knicks have in store for game 4 Monday night against Boston. You got to take one of these games in the Garden, and game 4 has now just become a must-win. The pressure is on the Knicks now. The pressure is on the Knicks. The Celtics probably feel relaxed. The Celtics fans, they feel relaxed. The Knicks fans, some of them feel relaxed. Some of them feel like me, where it's the pressure is on. The pressure is freaking on. All right, let's bounce from the Knicks to the Mets, the other blue and orange team. It's not orange and blue skies today for either side of New York. Queens, Manhattan, even the Bronx. Brett Baty did his best, and I'm going to lead with Brett Baty because Brett Baty, I'm believing in still. I said it a few weeks ago when he got sent down. I was confused because he was off to a freaking hot streak when he did get sent down, but I'm a believer in Brett Baty. In his last 2 games now, 3 freaking home runs. And you look at his numbers. Ever since he got sent down, before he got sent down, Brett Baty was actually doing pretty well. So I'm taking a look at his last 14 games. Brett Baty's hitting .289 in his last 14 games. He's got 10 RBIs, 7 runs scored in those last 14 games. And he's got an OPS of .978 in those last 14 games. I need to see Brett Baty in this lineup at least every day until he gets cold. We need a young player. Last year it was Mark Vientos, that young spark that lifted the Mets. The Mets, as great as they are, as great of a lineup that they have, they need a young player. They need somebody in the bottom of the order to be an impact piece. I want to say it's Francisco Alvarez, but for the past 3 years, Francisco Alvarez has never lived up to the hype. Jeff McNeil is a shell of his former self. Jeff McNeil, even though he hit a home run tonight, even last night he hit that home run. He worked a great at-bat today, getting on base, the potential tie and run on base in the bottom of the ninth. I need to see more. I need to see more from the bottom of the lineup. And right now, the guy who has the most potential in that bottom of the lineup is Brett Baty. So I need more of Brett Baty. And like I said, I am not giving up on Brett Baty. In his last 14 games, he's in .289 with over it. He has a .978 OPS. He's got 10 RBIs. I need more of Brett Baty. And his defense at third base, quite frankly, is better than Mark Vientos is. Mark Vientos is a terrible defender at third base. Mark Vientos went 2 for 4 today. His bat has started to wake up a little bit over the past few weeks. He's driving the ball even early on in the year. His exit velocity was up. He's hitting the ball hard. He's just hitting it in the wrong spots. I want to see Mark Vientos in the lineup, but I also want to see Brett Baty in the lineup. So what do? It's plain and simple. I don't want Starlin Marte at all in the starting lineup. I want Mark Vientos DHing, and I want Brett Baty at third base at least until Jesse Winker comes back or until Brett Baty shows that he's just not an MLB caliber player. It's plain and simple. And now let's get to Tyler McGill. Tyler McGill, for the second consecutive start, has folded. I get it. It's a great lineup against the Cubs, but it's 2 games in a row now where Tyler McGill has basically shit the bed. He shit the bed. And he's the only starting pitcher that I'm concerned about. I'm not concerned about Griffin Cannon. I'm not concerned about Clay Holmes. I'm not concerned about David Peterson. For hell, I am not concerned at all about Kodai Senga. Those 4 guys I am not concerned about. But Tyler McGill I am concerned about. At some point, the Mets need to realize who Tyler McGill is. And Tyler McGill needs to realize himself who he is. Is he a guy who can be a capable starter? Can he be a capable back-end starter? We don't need him to be a front-end starter. We have those. Clay Holmes is showing he can be a front-end starter. Griffin Cannon, out of nowhere, showing us he can be a front-end starter. Kodai Senga obviously looks like an ace. He's third in the MLB in ERA right now. He's got a 1.16 ERA with a 1.16 whip. Clay Holmes has a 2.74 ERA, and he's 5-1 on the year. Griffin Cannon with 5 consecutive wins on the year. Looking like a stud. I need to find out who Tyler McGill is. He's got one more start. One more start to make me realize who he is. And if he gets blown up again like he did in his past 2 games, I'm ready to get Tyler McGill out of there. The Mets have too many good starters down in AAA right now. They have Brandon Sproat, who really outside of 2 starts in AAA has been phenomenal. Nolan McLean, who went 7 strong innings in his first AAA start with 7 strikeouts, 0 earned runs allowed. Nolan McLean is looking like a better prospect than Brandon Sproat. I'm ready to see Nolan McLean if Tyler McGill has another bad start. We need to see more from Tyler McGill. But at the end of the day, I can't put it on the Mets offense. The Mets offense actually did the job. It sucked that Juan Soto went 0 for 5, but Juan Soto has actually been hitting the ball pretty well this month. He had Lindor go 1 for 4, Alonso go 1 for 4. Brandon Nimmo, even he went 1 for 4. He got a base knock. Mark Vientos, 2 for 4. Brett Baty, obviously 5 RBIs, 2 home runs, 2 for 4. Those 2 hits were obviously home runs. Francisco Alvarez, he's hitting 286 on the year. I'd like to see more power out of his bat, but he's getting on base at a high clip right now. He's got a 362 on base percentage. Francisco Alvarez looks like a completely different player. Tyrone Taylor went 1 for 2 today, brought his batting average up to a whopping 248. I say whopping because it's a whopping batting average for Tyrone Taylor. I need to see more. Huskar Brazoban, he actually had another great outing. Brazoban now lowered his ERA to a 1.13 with a .75 whip. He had 1.2 clean innings of work. He had 2 strikeouts, didn't allow a hit, didn't allow a walk. You had Genesis Cabrera. He went 0.2 innings today, didn't allow a hit, didn't allow a walk. You had Max Kranick, and Max Kranick starting to crack, which sucks. Edwin Diaz, he actually had another great outing. Edwin Diaz looking like the old Edwin Diaz, and I'm confident in Edwin Diaz. I think he can be a top-notch back-end closing pitcher for us this year. But Max Kranick is starting to crack. 4 consecutive games now for Max Kranick. He's allowed an earned run. And he allowed 2 earned runs tonight against the Cubs. Against Arizona on May 7th, he allowed a home run and 4 hits. 2 hits against St. Louis. Let up a run as well. And then obviously against Arizona again on May 1st, 2.2 innings. 1 hit only. And that 1 hit was a home run. Max Kranick is starting to crack. Just like that, Max Kranick now has an ERA of 3.80. And just to put that in retrospect, Max Kranick on April 28th had a 2.55 ERA. Since then, his ERA has skyrocketed to a 3.80. The Mets bullpen is starting to become a problem. It's starting to become a problem. I still trust Ryan Stanek. I'll say that. I trust Edwin Diaz. I trust Reed Garrett. But outside of those 3, and obviously Huskar Brazoban, I do trust Brazoban, but I don't really trust anybody else in that Mets bullpen right now. I don't. It is a problem. Because if the bullpen doesn't crack, if Max Kranick does not crack today, the Mets win that game. They put up 6 runs. They left a lot of guys on base. I get that. Altogether, they left 18 men on base, which is a problem of itself because the Mets have been leaving way too many runners on base. But even though they left 18 runners on base today, they still should have run that. They still should have won that game. 100%. They deserve to win that game. So it sucks. It sucks because especially when Brett Baty hits 2 home runs, you had Mark Vientos go 2 for 4. You had Alonso and Lindor with a hit. You had even Luis Angel Acuna. Playing fantastic defense at second base. I need to see more from this Mets team. It's like I'm not too worried because at the end of the day, we're still 10 games above 500. We have a secure hold on the NL East right now over the Philadelphia Phillies, even though they're a game and a half back right now. But we need to beat this. We need to beat this Cubs team 2 more times this series. We got 2 more games left this series. They need to win. They need to win. Let's talk about Juan Soto. Juan Soto in the month of May has looked like a completely different player in April and March. Let's go over Juan Soto's stats real quick. He's got a ton of home runs right now in May. Juan Soto in May is hitting .314, 11 hits, 5 home runs, 7 RBIs. He scored 9 times in 9 games this month, and his OPS in the month of May is at a 1.219. Juan Soto's starting to break out, and that's big because the Mets gave him $800 million because he's Juan Soto, because they expected this to, not even expected a 1.129 OPS and a 314 batting average. I don't think they expected that. And if anybody's expecting that, you're dumb. You're brain dead. If you're expecting Juan Soto to win 5 MVPs in 15 years and bring the Mets 7 championships, you're brain dead. Juan Soto's here for a reason. Juan Soto's here to win the Mets 1, maybe 2 championships. And if that happens, that's great. Makes the contract 100% worth it. And if anybody's telling you otherwise, They are brain dead, and you can call them that. You can call them that. Juan Soto's starting to heat up, and the reason that's nice is because the Mets bullpen is starting to crack. But over 5 tonight, Juan Soto didn't have it in him tonight, but I'm still confident that Juan Soto will continue to play at a high level. He will continue to hit because that's what Juan Soto does best. He hits. He gets on base. I mean, in the month of May, he has 11 hits, right? 11 hits in just 9 games. And you look at the walks, he's got 7 walks. He's been on base now 18 times in 9 games. And I'm also looking at, let's take a look at Juan Soto's stats in his last 20 games. Actually, let's do 25. We'll be nice, or a little bit more, add a little bit more pressure to Juan Soto. Let's take a look at his numbers in the last 25 games. He's hitting 263, which ain't well. 263, 15 RBIs, scored 18 times. Not great, but also, what if I told you this? Juan Soto, how many hits? 25 hits in those 25 games. And you look at the walks. 16 walks in those 25 games. So in those 25 games, he's got on base 41 times. 41 times on base in a 25-game span. That's why Juan Soto's here. Because even when he's not hitting at a high clip, he's getting on base. I mean, he's top 10 in runs scored. It also helps that Pete Alonso's hitting behind him. But Soto's here not just to hit and hit home runs and drive in runs. Soto's here because he gets on base. And that's what he's been doing. So what do I want to see more from the Mets? I want to see Tyler McGill. I want to see him get a little bit more. I want to see this bullpen, specifically Max Kranick, because Max Kranick has officially lost my trust. My trust is now in Brazoban, Ryan Stanek, Reed Garrett, and Edwin Diaz. Everybody else can kick rocks in this Mets bullpen. I want Daniel Nunez to rejoin like he was in last year. I want Max Kranick to rejoin that circle of trust like he was in the beginning of the year. But those two guys, they quite frankly need to show me more. And I'm a believer in Brett Baty, and I do think Juan Soto is starting to break out. Lindor has been great. Lindor has been fantastic. Hitting the leadoff home run yesterday. You look at Lindor's numbers, it is May. It is early May, too. Early May, usually Lindor is hitting like 200. Lindor in early May, he's hitting 296, 365 on base percentage, 491 slugging percentage, OPS well above 820. Lindor's going off right now. Pete Alonso, he's slowing down a little bit, but he's still hitting 322 with an on-base percentage of 438 and a slugging percentage of 616. And he also has 9 home runs, and he's got 34 RBIs on the year. Pete Alonso's up for a big year right now. I want to say that. I also want to see more from Brandon Nimmo. I do want to see more from Brandon Nimmo, but Mets lost tonight. They got tomorrow Griffin Cannon, who I think should win us that game right now. Griffin Cannon's 5-1 on the year. 5-1 on the year. 5 straight wins for Griffin Cannon in his outings. He's got a 2.50 on the year. We're facing Matthew Boyd, who has a 2.75 ERA. So he's actually had a pretty good year this year. Last year with the Guardians, he only pitched 39.2 innings, put together a 2.72 ERA. But definitely a hittable pitcher. Definitely a hittable pitcher. He let up 4 home runs last year in 8 games. In 7 games this year, he let up 4 home runs. He lets up the home run a lot. He let up 11 home runs in 2023 and just 71 innings of work. So he's a guy who gives up a lot of home runs. Mets need to take advantage of that and basically hit him. They need to wreck him. Now let's talk about these Yankees. Yankees also got 2 home runs from a guy named Aaron Judge, if you haven't heard of him. Aaron Judge, who's hitting well over 400 right now. They lost 11-7. The A's put up 4 runs in the 8th inning to take the lead, to regain the lead, I should say. It was tough because the Yankees had a big inning in the 6th inning. They scored 5 runs, but outside of the 6th inning and the 9th inning and the 4th inning, but they only scored 1 run in those innings. They didn't really do much. They put together 9 hits, and if they put up 7 runs and they let up 9 and they get 9 hits, you'd expect the Yankees to win that game, but they did not because Carlos Rodon, as great of a year as he's had so far, he had a 2023 Carlos Rodon start. He did get 10 strikeouts, but he allowed 8 hits and allowed four earned runs, 2 home runs. His ERA skyrocketed today. Going into today, Carlos Rodon had a 2.96 ERA today. He now has a 3.29 ERA after giving up the 2 home runs, 8 hits, and 4 earned runs across 6 innings. Yeah, that sucked. Ian Hamilton, I mean, I think every Yankee fan is done with Ian Hamilton. Tim Hill, you can still trust, but I mean, the bullpen decisions from freaking Aaron Boone today was a head scratcher. You know, you get a 1-run lead, you'd like to put your best relievers out there. That's a given. It's a given. Ian Hamilton pitching, why? Even Tyler Mastek, and I mean, he's had a good career. But, I mean, last year he missed a lot of time. He missed all of 2023. In 2024, he only came out of the pen for 11 games. He had 10 innings pitched last year. This was his 4th game of the year. Why? Just why? It was tough. Aaron Boone, I love him. I think he's a great manager. But his bullpen decisions are flat out stupid. Stupid. But just like the Mets, the Yankees left a lot of men on base today. They left 16 men on base. Not a recipe for success. You look at the Athletics, they let up 14 men on base. So if I told you the Yankees scored 7 times, they had 9 hits, and the A's left 14 men on base, you'd say the Yankees won that game, especially when I tell you Aaron Judge hit 2 home runs. But nope. The Yankees did not win that game. They did not. Trent Grisham continues his hot streak. He went 1 for 5. Aaron Judge went 2 for 4. Paul Goldschmidt 1 for 5. Cody Bellinger 2 for 4. Finally starting to wake up a little bit. Anthony Volpe went 1 for 4. Austin Wells, I mean, worked a walk today, but overall, not too well today. Got on base a ton, but I mean, we need to see more from Austin Wells. We do need to see more from Austin Wells. Right now, he's hitting .211 with a .271 on base percentage. It's not cutting it. Not cutting it. Jason Dominguez, he had a multi-home run game just yesterday. He had 3 home runs. Silent today. He did score today. He got on base with a walk, but he was 0 for 3 at the end of the day. Tough Yankees loss. Tough Yankees loss. And it sucks. It does suck. But I'm not worried about the Yankees, and here's why. They're still 22-17. Is that a great record? No. Is it a good record? 100%. And the best part about the Yankees is they play in the American League, and the American League ain't too hot right now. Like, let's actually take a look at the standings right now, especially in the American League compared to the National League. Right now, they have a 2-game lead over the Red Sox. The Red Sox are 21-20. Yankees are 22-17. I mean, the Yankees are the second best team in the American League right now. Tied for second with the Seattle Mariners. Tigers are the only team, or actually the Guardians and the Royals do have more wins than them. I forgot the American League Central right now is off to a freaking hot start. You got the Tigers at 26-14, Guardians at 23-16, Royals at 24-17. I mean, that ALC is freaking loaded. American League West, it's the Mariners, the A's. I mean, they're okay, but I'm not. The A's are going into today. They were, I want to say, 5-5 in the last 10 games. They were on a 3-game losing streak, so I don't think the A's are too good. I think they're just off to a hot start. They'll eventually come back down to earth. But now they're 21-19 on the year and 6-4 in their last 10. But the American League is not special by any stretch. Outside of the American League Central, it's terrible teams. The Red Sox, Rafael Devers with that whole thing. They lost their first baseman for the entire year. Like, they're not a good team. They have Garrett Crochet. I get it. They have Alex Bregman, who's off to a fantastic start. But the Red Sox, in my opinion, are nowhere near the Yankees level right now. The Blue Jays aren't. The Rays aren't. The Orioles aren't. So even if the American League steps up as a whole, whereas the American League Central's off to a hot start, the American League East sucks. It's the Yankees' division to lose. Let's be real. Anybody worried about the Yankees is delusional right now. Are there problems? Yes, but every single team, all 30 MLB teams have problems. That's baseball. It's a 162 game season. There's a lot of baseball left. The Yankees sitting at 22-17. In my opinion, that's pretty good because we got to think they're missing Garrett Cole. They're missing Louis Heel. We got Giancarlo Stanton, who's been out the whole year. He should be swinging his bat by the end of the month at the MLB level, hopefully. I mean, at least at the minor league level, I should say, with some rehab appearances, which is very good news. The Yankees are fine. The Yankees are fine. I'm not worried about them. They'll make the playoffs. And this lineup, this rotation, it's going to change. They're going to add pieces at the trade deadline. There's no doubt about it. Every year, the Yankees somehow make a magical move. Last year, it was Jazz Chisholm. They somehow make a magical move every single season. All right. Thank you for tuning into the James Nolan podcast. I got to get out of here. I want to watch my documentary that I've been watching. It's about Natalia Grace. For those of you who are interested in what I've been watching, Natalia Grace. I also watched Backlash tonight. I had it was a good day. A good but bad day. Going into today, I was pumped, right? I had the Knicks at 3:30. We had the Yankees at 4 o'clock. I had the Mets and Backlash at 7 o'clock. I had 2 TVs set up the whole entire day. And it was a beautiful day outside. It was like 75 degrees outside. It wasn't too hot, wasn't too cold. I should have went outside. I took my dog on a walk today in the beginning of the day. I took my other dog outside. She doesn't like to go on walks. It was a good day. It was supposed to be a really good day. But the Knicks lost. The Mets lost. The Yankees lost. So I had 4 TVs set up, and I had 3 heartbreaks. 3 heartbreaks. And even Randy Orton was a heartbreak, too. I wanted Randy Orton to beat John Cena, even though realistically I knew that wasn't going to happen. I mean, why would WWE take the title off John Cena? I saw Pat McAfee get his ass kicked. I felt bad for him, even though this, obviously wrestling's fake, blah, blah, blah. But there's obviously still some real shit that happens with it. And Pat McAfee took a freaking beating today, dude. I felt bad for that man. He put on a great match. I can't lie. Pat McAfee actually put on a great match. But he got his ass beat. And I don't think he's ever going to step into a wrestling ring with someone like Gunther again. He's got to have like quick 5-10 minute matches. He put on a show today. He put on a real legit match today, which was awesome to see. I think a lot of fans outside of WWE, a lot of fans of Pat McAfee will start to tune in now to WWE, so it was smart by them. But man, I feel bad for McAfee. He got his ass kicked. What else happened in Backlash today? I mean, Dom Mysterio win, which was pretty cool. I love Dom Mysterio now. But I mean, Randy Orton not winning kind of, I was kind of keeping my fingers crossed for an ultra swerve. It's like, wouldn't it be a freaking swerve if freaking Randy Orton decided to beat John Cena today? I thought it would have been pretty cool. All right, but that's it. Mets lost, Yankees lost, Knicks lost, Randy Orton lost. It was a bad day for me. I could have taken Tyson and Penelope on 15 walks today if I didn't have 2 TVs set up from 3 o'clock to 10 o'clock. All right, that's it for me. Hopefully everybody enjoys their Sunday. I suggest if you're a Knicks fan, go out with your family tomorrow. Enjoy Mother's Day with your parents. I'm going for brunch tomorrow. It's going to be a good day. It's going to be a nice day out, hot weather. Spend that day outside. Go to brunch. If you don't want to go to brunch, just buy your mom flowers. Do something. Do something tomorrow. Take a day off of sports. That's what I'm going to do. Even with the Mets, I'm going to put it on DVR. I'm going to watch it later when I'm done with the parents. I don't want to keep live updates and check my phone at brunch. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to DVR it. I'm going to watch it later. Hopefully nobody texts me about the Mets either way. If you are watching and you're one of my boys, do not text me because I want to DVR and I want to be surprised myself. All right, but that's it for today. I'm out of here. Thank you for watching the James Nolan podcast, whether you're on YouTube, X, Facebook, whether you're listening back on Spotify. Let's go Knicks on Monday night. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm out of here. Deuces.